Can you help us understand? I understand back in 2019 when it was known as the Web.com Tour, not the Korn Ferry Tour thing. But the Korn Ferry Tour selected or opted to create the Huntsville Championship.
Yeah.
How does Knight Eady get selected to be the tournament organizer? Walk us through that selection process.
Yep.
And then also, if you can, get into kind of the scope.
Yeah.
What is it that you know, at the end of the day is the most important thing that you're delivering?
Right. So, and I'll take, kind of piggybacking off, the Korn Ferry piece where it, was, web.com, it's been Nationwide, it's been Nike, it's been Hooters, and all those serve as, kind of the umbrella sponsor of this tour. PGA Tour is a little different, in that you don't necessarily need an umbrella sponsor, and I don't know that they necessarily even offer it. But in 2019, Korn Ferry, which is a global consulting firm based out of LA, I believe. And at the time, they announced, their title, kind of umbrella sponsorship. I mean, you can imagine, just the number of impressions that they've got, and everybody's like, what does that even mean? What is Korn Ferry? And so right out of the gate, kind of the impact that, that they've seen and they've had, and just the value of them, being a part of this tour, I mean, is taken off. And so, and it just, speaks to, to the health of the Korn Ferry Tour. When you got an umbrella sponsor that's fully engaged and wants to be involved and wants to press the envelope, then that's great. I think it makes all the tournament stops, better and stronger for it too. So in 2019, Korn Ferry stepped up, obviously have a multi-year deal. Like I said, extremely involved in the day-to-day of each specific tournament, which you're currently on the calendar. There are 26 stops, 26 international stops. COVID dropped some of those international stops, brought them back: Bahamas, Colombia, Panama, and so those are all early season events. Pick up at LeCom, which I think is the middle of February, and then from there on it's stateside, and we're off running. And in terms of how we kind of got to the point, Knight Eady essentially got ownership of it. And so what it is you have those 26 stops. There are a handful that have the same kind of owner operators, like Bruno Event based out of Birmingham, which does similar work to us. Obviously, they're heavy in NASCAR and a lot more. You can get their hands in a lot more things. Are in this space as well. So they've got 2 or 3 events that they own and operate, whether it's on the LPGA side or the Korn Ferry side or the PGA Tour side. And so, with our team, so it started really with, being involved on the marketing side with the U.S. Women's Open when it was played at Shoal Creek a number of years ago.
Okay.
Got some work, some contract work there. Started to dip our toe kind of in the golf space. Obviously, we've got some golfers in the office there, and I mean, just sports people in the office. And so really want to touch anything and everything around sports and just see the value and understand, just the power that it has. And so kind of with that, started having conversations. Hey, what does it take like? What does it look like to run one of these things from start to finish?
Right.
And started having a lot of those conversations internally. And I was obviously at Valero at the time, and so knew these guys from a number of years ago through some mutual connections, and had kind of watched from a distance to see what they were doing, and then the conversations continued. They had conversations with the tour, and the tour kind of laid out a couple of things. Hey, you need a community that can support it financially. You need a club, first and foremost, that wants it and wants to host and can accommodate. And then just you got to have, like I said, the financial structure is a big piece of it, and just the means to operate. And so conversations kept going. The tour came up. Visited Huntsville, and obviously, just by the growth and understanding, just in the proximity of it, between Nashville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, and some of those that have hosted before and host now, made total sense. And just the growth of the city and the support that it's getting, and and the backing of sporting events, made sense. And so the tour came in. Had some conversations. We had a relationship with the Ledges, prior to even the conversations taking place, and the tour came in and said, this is a property that we like, that we need to have. And so